Hello, you guys, and happy Friday to everybody. I hope you're doing well. Today, I want to talk about detoxing because it is, we're going into spring. Well, we are in spring, right, technically. And I know some of you on the East Coast might totally not agree with me on that because it is really cold over there on the East Coast. And I know the winter isn't going away. Well, I wonder how many of you here are actually experiencing spring already in your place. I'm in Boulder, Colorado, so it's a beautiful day today, outside 70 degrees. And we've had a lot of people asking us about detoxing, and so I thought I'll dedicate today's call to talking about detoxing because if you think about it, there's so many ways of doing it, and depending on who you ask, everyone will give you a different answer what they perceive as detox, right? So I'm wondering, how many of you here have done a detox before? And whether it's like a full-on fast or whether it's a gentle detox or whether you work with supplements or some product and shakes, I don't know. Or how many of you have maybe done my detoxes? So let me know. I'm just curious about that. So let me tell you my take on detoxing. My first experience with detoxing was in, I want to say 2010, just about 7 years ago. I just felt, and I think it's a feeling thing, right? It's not a rational thing, but it's like a feeling thing when you go, my body really needs to detox, right? And so I ended up going to Thailand, to Koh Samui, and doing a detox there for, I think it was a 10-day detox. Pretty intense. But one of the things about Rob and Keith is saying, hi there, I've done a liver, kidney, colon detox. Nice, thanks for sharing. I'm wondering, what did you get out of it? How did you feel afterwards? So, by the way, if you're new to this, introduce yourself, tell me where you're from, and if you're listening to this for the first time, my name is Magdalena. I'm the founder of Hormones Balance. I help women rebalance their hormones through nutrition, and today I want to talk about detoxing because it is kind of falling under the nutrition realm as well. It can make a big difference in how your hormones are produced and metabolized. Although, I also want to say detox is not for everybody, and I want to talk about that as well. So I did that in 2010 when I went to that center, and it was really great because it was like a whole focus just on detoxing. One of the big things that I've learned from there was that, they really prime you to getting into a detox. It's not an abrupt boom. One day you just stop everything and go into a full-on, detox of just juicing and not eating and your regular amounts of foods. And so I think one of the things that I had learned from that center, and I'm a big proponent today when I run my own detoxes, is to really prep you up, to give yourself the time. Robin is saying she felt great and lighter, like I never wanted to eat unhealthy foods again. That's a great observation. Thank you, Robin. And that's a very common comment. A lot of people say is that I feel so clean. It's like, when you have this clean house, right? You just got your house cleaned or you cleaned it. And and then you see somebody walking in with these really dirty shoes and you're like, take your shoes off, right? You just cannot allow that to happen. So with a detox, it's a little bit similar like that. And so I'm a big proponent of prepping yourself up before entering a detox. But let's talk about that in a second. Since Robin is talking about benefits, I just want to tell you that, I try to stay away from new agey kind of stuff, right? Just because it is a fashionable thing to do. Everybody's talking about doing a detox. I like it because it really works, but it has to be done right. And the reason why I have seen a lot of detoxes really helping people is because it does a couple of things. One is it really helps your liver to get rid of all that junk. So think of the liver like a sieve, right? And like the sieve in the kitchen you have, right? After a while, you're gonna kind of empty it, right? Because there's gunk that accumulates. And as much as the liver should be able to do that on its own, the problem is that we are loading it up typically with a lot of stuff. Anything from I mean, natural compounds that are found in foods that need to be filtered out, not everything the body needs, to pesticides in the food, to, you know, the skincare stuff that we are using and all the chemicals, bacteria, viruses, parasites get filtered out by the liver, and hormones. Believe it or not, that's something that was a huge aha moment when I started doing this work. Was like, wow, I never knew that that the blood goes through the liver, and in the liver really separates out the metabolites, the used up hormones, and then with the help of the bile, we poop them out. So the liver is hugely important in hormonal balance as well. And, you know, like for example, estrogens get metabolized in the liver, and there's specific pathways. The sulfation and methylation pathway are responsible for breaking down estrogens and then metabolize it and basically excreting them, right? The thyroid, for example, the T4 hormones is which your thyroid gland produces, gets converted in the liver to T3. So it's no wonder that people who support the liver sufficiently can get a really great results. I'm actually, before I forget, I just want to show you, I'm actually drinking a juice that's hugely supportive towards the liver. And I'll give you the recipe in just a second. Excuse me, there's something in my throat. Let me just have a quick sip. So, you know, like what Robin has mentioned, and this is a very common observation and experience of a lot of people who have done detoxes before, there's a lot of benefits that start happening. Hi, Bea. And, you know, it's everything from feeling really light, clear-headed, renewed sense of energy, clear eyes. Like people who do detox, a lot of times people walk up to them and go, what have you done? Like your eyes are bright. Like what have you done? What's different? And people go like, I don't do a detox, right? Skin clears out a lot of the time. For a lot of people, hair starts falling out, right? Skin becomes really nice and soft. Why? Because we are cutting out a lot of the inflammatory foods that is causing rough skin, right? What else? People sleep way better. That's another huge one. Improved sleep. Again, no surprises there. I'm wondering, for those of you who've done a detox, what else has been good for you? For me, I felt like I was glowing, Robin says. Yeah, for me, it's always been also a great sense of also emotional lightness. Because, you know, we focus so much on the physical side of the detox, but I feel like there's also the emotional side, which is so tightly connected. And I think in Western world, we like to draw the line between, your emotions are emotions, and your physical body is your physical body. Monica is saying cześć. That's in Polish. It means hi. Hi there, Monica. So yeah, so what would be happening is that I feel that sometimes when I get stuck with certain emotions, when I do a detox, I feel like it's a purging mechanism for me, as well as in letting go of stuff that's been maybe holding me back, or maybe that I had certain inhibitions about, like, you know, certain friendships. For example, I had a friend before who I felt really bad for ending that relationship, but at the same time, I was like, you know, it's not serving me well. And after doing the detox, it was as this absolute sense of lightness and courage that came with it. And I have to tell you, women who have done detoxes with us before have said that they have experienced anything from having courage to leaving their husbands. I mean, tough one, right? But sometimes necessary. If it's an incredibly toxic relationship, it can serve a person better. They have had the courage to change their jobs, move on. So you can see those are emotional benefits that sometimes the physical cleansing of a body can bring, that can really be super beneficial. So for those of you who are wondering, what's the juice that I'm drinking? It's beginning to separate now because I just made it 20 minutes ago. By the way, when you make a fresh juice, you want to drink it with it about 15-20 minutes, because otherwise it starts oxidizing. And Bea is saying detachment. I'm not sure what's the context of that. If you could tell us a little bit more, Bea. Yeah, so let's see. So the recipe that the juice that I'm drinking here is actually taken from my detox program, and I'll tell you about that later if you want, when I hear. And it's called Liver Flush. So this is very much, it's not the tastiest juice of all, but it's incredibly beneficial. So what I put in there is half a bunch of dandelion leaves, 1 apple, and I use a green one because I didn't want to have too much sugar. And then have a bunch of parsley and 1 inch of ginger. Now, every one of these, right? So just in case you want to catch that, again, have a bunch of dandelion leaves, 1 apple. I use green. Have a bunch of parsley and 1 inch of ginger. So this is the outcome. The reason why I like using dandelion leaves is because they are hugely cleansing for the kidneys. And they also bitter, so anything bitter will stimulate bile production, right? And in the gallbladder, and the bile is so important in not only helping us digest fats, but also flush out those toxins and the hormones that I was talking about earlier. Women who have a lot of gallbladder problems, like gallstones, tend to have a lot of issues with hormones as well. And I know a lot of doctors have their only solution is to remove your gallbladder as if it was this useless organ. And then reality is that a lot of women 3 to 6 months later start developing hormonal problems because they have insufficient bile. So if you do not supplement with sufficient bile, then you start having problems with hormones, and that's because of that. We've got a whole bunch of other recipes here for the juicing with a detox program, but I want to talk a little bit more about the approach on detoxing, because many of you have asked about this. So, like I mentioned, prepping up, gently easing yourself into a detox is really, really important. Meaning, if you've been drinking caffeine, right? Like if you're drinking 2-3 cups every day or more, right? Anything that's caffeinated, whether it's green tea, whether it's coffee, whether it's black tea. And if you're eating, a lot of these kind of stuff, like you're living off sugar, right? You're still eating gluten, you're living on dairy, right? A lot of these foods can be highly inflammatory. If you have not been sleeping a lot, right? You've been working like a crazy woman. All of those stuff can be very taxing for the body. So just imagine, like, if you just put a sudden stop to that and go into a detox, right? The reactions are gonna be pretty deep and not always pleasant. And I'm a big advocate of gentleness with yourself, with your body, with your emotions. Anything that you go into new, that should be done in a gentle way. And so, when you're picking a detox program that resonates well with you, pick something that really teaches you to ease into it. For example, in my program called the Thyroid Detox, we do a 5-day prep up day. So you're still eating, but you're getting off caffeine. We're eliminating all the things like excessive sugar, dairy, gluten, no nightshades, limited number of, hi there Alex, nuts and seeds. And that way your body is really well prepped up before you go into an actual detox period of 5 days. And in the 5 days, there is a deep and a gentle program. So gentle is when you're still eating, but things like smoothies and salads, so they are still solids. And then and deep goes into juicing. So that means there's no solids, that tends to be deeper. However, any form of detoxing, any form of elimination of the toxins, in my world, I would consider that a detox. In fact, if you want to do an elimination diet that just removes the big fives, right? Gluten, dairy, eggs, soy, and corn, that itself is actually already a form of detox. So don't feel like you're not doing enough. In fact, if you're new to this community, you've never listened to me before, and you're like, I'm just gonna assess her out, see what she's got to say. If you're struggling with your hormones and you've never done any form of detox before, start off with the elimination diet first before going in too deep. For those of you who are joining me new, I'm just gonna take a sip of my one of the detox juices that I just made this half an hour before getting on. Yeah, so it's called the liver flush. I want to read out something to you that actually I woke up to this morning, which I just love it. You wake up a lot of times in the morning and you're like, oh, there's just this 20 things I'm gonna do, and Fridays tend to be rather busy for me, and then you wake up and you're tagged in this post, and I want to read this out to you because I want to just give you a sense of hope of what can change for you when you do the work that I'm teaching, the work that's, a lot of fractional practitioners are teaching about elimination of toxins, adding in really a lot of really good healing foods. So this is with the permission of Lisa Jones Garcia. I just printed it out. She posted that on our, what if you have SIBO and MTHFR? Kim is asking. Kim, I'm going to come to this in a second. Those are good questions. Lisa Jones Garcia is one of our members in the Hormone Thrivers, which is a closed group that I have for people who've done my programs before, the cooking program or the detox program. And Lisa wrote this morning, she said, I wanted to share with you some words I was pretty shocked to hear. My doctor said to me this week when going over the lab results that my Hashimoto's is in remission. Took a while to sink in, but my thyroglobulin antibodies are 0.3 and thyroid peroxidase, our TPO, are 11, which if you're new to this, it basically means that her immune system was active before and she does not have those antibodies anymore, meaning that the immune system is not attacking her thyroid anymore, which confirms that she has put her Hashimoto's into remission. I just wanted to encourage those of you who are just beginning to keep going. I was already gluten-free, but the biggest changes I have made a year ago that I attribute to reducing my inflammation antibodies were, number one, getting a Berkeley fluoride filter for my drinking water, increase liver cleansing, right? That's the thing I'm talking about here today. I've done the seed rotation. I use Megas probiotics. It's a very potent probiotic that I like to sell. Digestion way improved, no parasites, only candida left now to resolve. She also said, I did the PFF breakfast. In case you're new to this, PFS stands for protein, fat, and fiber-rich kind of breakfast, not carbohydrates, which is most Westerners do. Things like oatmeal and fruit, right? That's all carbohydrates and a lot of sugar. I teach something totally different in my community called the PFF kind of breakfast. It means like eating almost dinner foods for breakfast. And that has been working for a lot of women really well. She says she also did the Thyroid Detox last April and cut out dairy and eggs and soy, added in green tea and dandelion and Tulsi tea. I still have other areas to work on and I'll be there but making good progress. Thank you, Magdalena and Diana and support team for the programs. Help me achieve the goals of putting Hashimoto's into remission. So, hey you guys, so she got like, just 3 hours ago, she had already got like 58 likes. Just like that. And so, as you can see, when you put the work in, amazing things can happen. So what I want to just share with you is that you can do this too. If you're committing to doing the work, do the elimination diet. Do a detox if you're ready for that. And you will start seeing the inflammation coming down. When the inflammation comes down, your glands are so much more able to produce the hormones that you basically need, right? So whether it's your thyroid, whether it's the ovaries, whether it's the pituitary gland, whether it's the pineal gland, that's the first thing, the production of the hormones. But then also the metabolism of the hormones, which happens so greatly in the liver. Now the liver is supported so well through a detox, right? That you start seeing a lot of really great results when you give the liver a really great break. The other thing I really love about a detox is the fact that you're giving your digestion a break. After the brain, the digestion does a lot of work. Think about it, right? It's got to chomp up on all the food and move it along. That's a lot of work. So when you shut down your digestion, a lot of that energy in the body goes into healing a lot of the different body parts. And I remember in 2010 when I did a detox in Thailand, that's what kind of got me started on that path, was feeling like all these little body pains and aches that I had, they just vanished. Like I had this little icky pain around my ovaries. I don't know what it was, and I don't really care anymore because it just disappeared. So I'm wondering here, who of you here has done a detox before and what has it done for you? And only for this group, I want to offer you something really cool. Since the spring is out, I'm feeling very springy. You can see I'm wearing like my first time springy shirt for the year. I want to offer you $10 off of my detox program called Thyroid Detox. There's a couple of things you can do. You can either go and check out the workshop, which is totally for free. It's called the 7 Toxins That Impact Your Thyroid. And I call it Thyroid Detox, but really it is for anyone to do. If you're having estrogen dominance, if you're going through menopause, if you're struggling with PCOS, if your sugar levels are up and down, or if you don't know what hormonal imbalance you have, actually it really helps everybody. We just call it like that for branding purposes because it started off that way 7 years ago and I just continued on holding on to the name. So if you want to just do the workshop and see whether this is the right thing for you, go to thyroiddetox.com, sign up for the workshop, go through the workshop, and then decide if you want to join the program. If you're really convinced that, like listening to Lisa's story, listening to me, and you're like, I actually want to do the detox. I'm ready. It's only $97, you guys, and you learn tons. Meal plans, a lot of different recipes, but also like how to detox your kitchen, how to detox your cabinet for skincare products. Go to thyroiddetox.com/join. And you're getting $10 off. That's only for the next week. And the coupon code is Spring 2017. Okay, Spring 2017. If any one of my team members is listening, I forgot to mention, could you please mention that on the forum, and then the Spring 2017, all small letters, is to get the $10 off. Bianca is asking, I would love to do a detox, but I find it's hard to sleep at night if I haven't eaten 6 to 7 meals a day, as I have extremely fast metabolism. Any suggestions? Yeah, good question, Bianca. So a lot of the time, you know, I don't know what detox you've done before. A lot of times where we are hungry all the time is because it is a sugar issue. And, you know, eating these small meals is one thing, but what you are eating is another. The program and the way I've developed it and the way I like to work with detoxes is very dynamic in a sense that we really teach how to tune into your body to decide what is best for you. So that's why it's not really a one kind of program for everyone. So Bianca, for your case, if you feel like you really need that, follow the meal plan, and there is snack options there that you can incorporate. And have something small at night if that's what happens. Like I said, a lot of times we don't sleep well at night is either because we have real problems with the liver or because we have sugar level problems. And it sounds like you must eat a lot of meals throughout the day. That happens most of the time with people with sugar problems. So either incorporate those little meals and have that. It's fine. And in Thyroid Detox, we teach some really cool stuff on how to deal with choose between gentle or deep. So for those of you who are listening new, we prep up. The way the program is structured is the first 5 days is all about it's about prepping you. So it's called the pre-detox 5 days, and then you go into the 5 days of detox, which is either deep or gentle. Deep, you're going only with liquids. You need to have a juicer for that. And then the gentle is only doing basically solids, but they're modified solids. We incorporate a lot of really great healing foods like parsley and dandelion, which is hugely beneficial, cilantro, let's see what else, beets, which are also super great for the liver, ginger, etc. And the results that you can expect is really, like, especially now going into spring, I feel like it's really such a great time to think about it, because when you're in summer, you're like in a summer mode, you want to have ice cream and alcohol, and you go out with friends, you travel. Spring, it feels like a really good time to set off, press the reset button, right, so to speak, after winter. So like we talked about it before at the beginning of the call, it's just a lot to do with just feeling light and courageous to do new things, and feeling just energized and clear in your head, and sleeping much better. Let me go back to the question we had that came in earlier about MTHFR and SIBO. So the answer is, if you have SIBO, I would not recommend this detox, or work with a detox that's specifically designed to doing low FODMAP. Because when you have SIBO, you really need to treat SIBO. Detox is not going to really help you. If I were you, I'd take care of SIBO first before doing a detox. And then the other one is, if somebody has an MTHFR mutation, honestly, I don't know, about 50-60% have at least one of the mutations, either the single or double. I also have the single. 60% of people have it, so it's nothing unusual. Yes, of course, you can do the detox when you have MTHFR mutation. Either one, it's fine. MTHFR mutation has got the bigger importance is the supplements you're taking, and for example, folate in a methylated form, right, or B12 in a methylated form. Yeah, Bianca is asking, can you post the links to the detox programs? I will, and if you want to do it right away, it's thyroiddetox.com, thyroid like the gland thyroid, thyroiddetox.com is the free workshop, thyroiddetox.com/join is the paid program. And like I said, the $10 discount applies It's called Join. No, it's called Spring 2017, all small letters. Spring 2017 to get the $10 off. Okay. So let's see. What other questions do we have? Post your questions here. I will get to them. And I just want to give you a heads up. Next week, I'm going to be talking about whether you should or should not take bioidentical hormones. And the answer is not a yes or no. It's a little bit, it's more complicated than that, and I want to talk about it next week. One request I have for you, if you know women who you think will benefit from these conversations here, thanks Lisa, there you go, Spring 2017. Could you also post the 2 links to thyroiddetox.com and then /join for the full program? Yeah, so, it's one more thing I want to say that I've come across a lot of detoxes that are which are really more of an avenue for selling products, and I am not a fan of those. I'll be honest, there are a couple of products in my detox which you get it externally, it's not from me. And it's more just things like, for example, for parasite cleansing, right, which is a great thing to do when you're doing a detox, or bentonite clay, which binds onto the heavy metals. So those are things that are optional but very beneficial. I've seen detoxes before that kind of go the route of, you need the $500 worth of supplements and these pills and that pills and this powder and da-da-da. And Lisa, it's Thyroid Detox, not the cooking program. Thyroiddetox.com, thanks. And then /join as well. And so I'm not a fan of those just because it kind of ignores the nutritional element. And it almost feels like saying to people, eat anything you want, eat all that inflammatory foods like gluten and dairy, and don't slow down on your sugar. Oh, no, you can have your coffee, right? But take all these supplements. And, and I feel like it's just not right. At least that's my intuition on it. Go with your intuition. If you're interested in doing a food-only kind of a detox with guided meditations and really giving yourself the time to, to be out a little bit. Is detox okay if you have a liver disease or kidney issues? Regina, it depends what it is. I'll talk to your doctor about it first. I've worked with a lot of women. I don't know what liver disease you're talking about. I've worked with women who had, for example, elevated the AST and ALT enzymes in the liver. And so they basically had fatty liver, non-alcoholic fatty liver, and the detox helped them tremendously. In fact, we've had women, who, and I remember that happened also in a detox center. There were even women with type 1 diabetes who was injecting herself with insulin, and she basically stopped taking, she reduced her insulin levels, at the end of the detox. It's really actually quite fascinating how many changes can really happen. So I've seen a lot of women go through detoxes, and lower their antibodies, right? Their estrogen dominance gets reduced, so the PMSs are reduced. A lot of women get pregnant after that, not right away, but if you just do a detox and then give yourself 2 to 3 months to replenish your body nutrients, that's really awesome. I've seen women having everything from like reversal of Hashimoto's, and for those of you who are tuning in late, I just read out Lisa's story, who just posted this morning about putting Hashimoto's into remission, and Thyroid Detox was one of the programs that she had done. Have you ever heard of Clear Vite PSF? Do you know if it's a detox? If you have, I don't, and that's what I'm talking about, is that I work with food only. How often do you do a detox within a year? Good question, Alex. I would say it really depends on you. Let your intuition tell you this. Some women do it 2 times a month, 2 times a year. And others, I do it like once a year just because I feel like that's all I need. Yeah, so that would be my answer. Christy's saying, I just joined. I have hypothyroidism, Hashimoto's on meds. Can this detox help to get off meds? Christy, that's a great question. I cannot promise such things, and I would never be advocating to get you off the meds. But here's what I can tell you that a lot of people have experienced, is that a reduction of medications, just because when your liver is really efficiently now getting rid of toxins, when your digestion is in a much better place, then what happens is a lot of times I've seen a lot of women reduce their medications. It depends on whether your thyroid is able to kick back again and produce sufficient amount of thyroid hormone for you to get off meds. And that depends on the state of your thyroid today, right? If you had Hashimoto's and don't look at the diagnosis date, because you could have been diagnosed maybe 2 months ago, but had it for the past 10 years, which is very, like, I think I had it since I was a teenager, and I was only diagnosed in my early 30s. So, you know, if you've had Hashimoto's for a very long time and there's been an ongoing attack of the immune system on the thyroid gland, then it gets damaged. Like, you literally have cellular damage in the thyroid, and then the thyroid might not be able anymore to kick in and produce sufficient thyroid hormones. So that way you won't be able to get off the medication. But what you can, I think, focus more on how you want to feel, you know, and whether meds or not. I mean, if you're doing like low doses of, you know, thyroid medication, because of hormone changes, I can't lose weight, so detox is going to help me. Rena, yes, absolutely. That's another benefit. I don't tend to talk about weight loss because I feel like a lot of people go into detoxes because they want to lose weight, and I don't feel like it's a right thing to promote. Sorry, you guys, I'm a little bit different than most people. I know most people will be like, lose weight, do a detox, right? I feel like weight loss is a natural, good symptom of a well-done detox. And the reason is that a lot of times you hold on to weight because there is a lot of inflammation going on, because of hormonal imbalances, and detox can definitely help. Would the 12 days reset everything in your life? No, it's gonna help you to put you on the right path. But towards the end of the detox, in the last 2 days, we teach how do you transition to a life that's sustainable, that continues on with a good diet, and how to slowly bring in foods one after the other. So it's like the same way you do with the elimination diet, right? You bring in, let's say, tomatoes, see how you feel. You bring in bananas, see how you feel. You know, sometimes people just bring in these foods slowly and they go like, wow, oats really trigger me. Like, I get all anxious when I eat oatmeal. Or they go, every time I eat tomatoes, like my joints hurt, right? And that's not uncommon. Nightshade vegetables can cause that. So the inflammation will come down, and yes, weight loss is one of the great benefits of a detox, right? If that makes sense. One of the big things is when we guide you through the detox is that, by the way, so you do it in your own time, so there is no live classes and stuff, but there is live support on our page. Is that, you know, we guide you through the process. And one of the things you will learn is to really go in there with very clear intentions. And the intention shouldn't be, I want to lose weight. I really don't want you to go in with that intention. Because it is, I don't know, there's something about weight loss that I feel like this whole industry about weight loss is so unhealthy. And to me, it just carries such a catabolic and really sickly emotion to it, you know? So that's why I don't ever talk about weight loss. But what I would love to tell you is that when you go in there with an intention of being vibrant, or being, you know, show up in your life with confidence, maybe because it's because of weight loss, right? Maybe it's because the way you just now think, you're so much sharper in your brain, right? Or because you want to be more energetic to show up for your kids or for your grandchildren, right? That's the intention we really want you to focus on, not the weight loss part, if that makes sense, okay? But I'm glad you asked. Thank you for that. Robin is saying she does her detox once a year. Yeah, and then one more thing I want to talk about before we wrap up today's call, and in case you're joining a bit late, if you want to do the detox with us, it's thyroiddetox.com/join. The link has been posted by Lisa on the feed, and you get $10 off only for a week until the 24th of April, and it's called Spring 2017. So one more thing I want to mention is, who here has heard of the lemonade diet? Have you guys heard of that? I'm gonna take a quick sip of my liver flush. I'm gonna scroll down. Is detox good for IBS sufferers? Yes, it definitely is. It definitely can help. The only time I don't recommend for people to do the detox is if you are pregnant, lactating, If you are really sick, if you've got SIBO, my program is not right for you because I don't keep things low FODMAP. Christy saying, I eat horrible, exhausted all the time, on thyroid meds, still exhausted. If I do the detox, will it help me start off right again? Yeah, Christy, you know, it's a good question. One of the things, if you look at the comments, if you scroll to the comments to the top, Robin was sharing how after the detox, she did my detox, she said she didn't want to eat crappy foods again. And as the analogy that I used earlier in this call, I said, as when you clean up the house and you see somebody walking in with dirty shoes, you're like, oh, no, you're leaving these shoes right outside here, right? I'm not letting you go in here and mess up my house. Is the same thing with our bodies. You know, when you really clean up the temple, you want to keep it clean. So, Christy, that could be a really great start for you if you've been, you know, putting these kind of crappy foods in your body. So give it a shot. One more thing I want to mention before I go off is the lemonade diet, also known as you know, the water fast. They call it water fast. They call it the lemonade diet, master cleanse, right? There's all these different names for it. And it's basically, you know, drinking lemon water with quite a large amounts of maple syrup, which I don't agree. I feel like it's way too much. But is that the right thing for you to do? So I've done it in the past, just to let you know. And if you've never done a detox before, I would recommend for you not to do that. The only reason why I say this is because it all the compounds, like for example, that the juices, the recipes for juices that I have here in the detox, right? And there's more of them here. And that's the juice that I'm drinking today, which is that liver detox. Liver flush detox juice, is all these compounds, you know, like in this case here, there's dandelion, there's parsley, there is Susan is saying she did the detox last fall, loved the focus on adding healing foods. I've incorporated a few herbs and recipes I've never known how to eat. There you go, right? So you just learn. And some of those recipes you can really continue eating them on a daily basis. So the reason why I like to keep it with certain foods and through juicing, with juicing, is because it provides compounds that actually bind to the toxins. And are you currently taking meds? Sonia is asking. No, I'm actually not on any meds whatsoever. Woohoo! So no, I'm actually not. So I'm really glad about that. Neither am I taking any hormones or creams or anything like that. So so these compounds are there to attach themselves to carry out the toxins. So I'll give you an example. For example, the sulfation pathway in the liver is one of the pathways that takes care of a number of different hormones and heavy metals and bacteria. And what happens is sulfur, which is found in a lot of the cruciferous vegetables, as well as scallions and leeks and garlic and onions, the sulfur is there to attach itself to the toxin to then be evacuated. So when you do something like a master cleanse, you're not providing your body with any compounds to attach themselves to the toxins to get evacuated, if that makes sense. And that's the reason why I have seen people having really bad side effects from doing the master cleanse. As in horrendous headaches, I mean, you know, like being in bed for 2 days with fever, breaking out with rashes everywhere. And so if you ask me what are the, let's say, the side effects of a detox, you might be experiencing going through, especially if you're kind of toxic. Headaches are very normal, especially when you're getting off caffeine, you know, that's why I said, give yourself the 5 days. If you might doing my program, you'll learn how to do that. Wean yourself off caffeine. And then, you know, weird dreams, a lot of skin stuff starts coming out. You might be having exhaustion. Some people get a diarrhea, not common, but it can happen. Some people feel lightheaded. Others get really bad, like bad moods for a day or two. But you know what? These are all signs that something is going on. Something is changing and it will pass. I promise you that all of that is gonna pass. It's just very temporary. And the gentler you get into a detox, the less of those symptoms you're gonna have. And I'm a big proponent of that because you know what? Most of us are not able to take off 12 days, you know, because we're gonna work. And if you take days off, it's like you are not gonna go on your holidays, right? So we try to balance it out. So we designed the program in a way that we're assuming you still have kids to take care of. You might be traveling. You're still gonna go to work. You are getting up at 7 o'clock in the morning and getting to work. And so you're still going to bring some stuff with you. And we designed the program in such a way that it's all doable. And so I don't want you to be experiencing these horrendous headaches and feeling like a monster and breaking out everywhere while you're working, because that's just no fun, right? So anyway, so that's what happens. Like weird dreams, that's another one I want to just mention to you. I had that when I did my first detox in Thailand. I dreamt of, like, I had such weird dreams. Oh my God. But it's a matter of reframe, right? You go like, something is happening, something is shifting in here. It's a good thing. I like that because it is all part of the detoxification process. So anyway, you guys, I'm gonna go today. I hope you have a lovely weekend. Just one more time, thyroiddetox.com to see the free workshop. If you want to join the program, go to thyroiddetox.com/join. Get your $10 off with Spring 2017 code. And next week, I'm going to be talking about should you or should you not be doing bioidentical hormones, whether it's progesterone, whether it's estrogen, whether it's DHEA, whether it's testosterone, whether it's thyroid medication. Okay, you guys, I will see you next week. I hope you do something really self-loving. This weekend, I'm going for a massage this afternoon. And happy weekend, everybody. And I'll talk to you next week. Bye.